Smothers was in here for a match, and Paul Diamond and Pat Tanaka had just lost their Southern Tag titles, and they were out here yelling, nope, we're not going to have any other matches until we get a rematch and bring them out here and all of that. And first, to begin with, they threw Tracy's opponent just out of here. They literally threw him out the door. Here's what happened in all of that. Tracy, Smothers, Diamond, and Tanaka. Tracy up in the ring, ready for a match. Tanaka up there against Tracy. Why don't you guys just get out of here and let us go on with this? Tracy against Tanaka. Yeah, now Diamond jumps in there. Everybody jumping on Tracy. Prince has left. He said he was calling the rest of the commission out here. I hope he doesn't do that, but he probably will. Diamond and Tanaka grabbing Tracy Smothers. Oh, a double clothesline on Tracy. They had jumped Buddy James, who was to beat Tracy's opponent, just as he was on his way to the ring, and they literally threw him out the door. Here comes the chair. Diamond with the folding metal chair. Oh, right to the top of the head. He nails Tracy Smothers. Here comes some other folks right here. Oh, look out. The Rock and Roll RPM's grabbing Jeff Jarrett and Billy Travis. There goes Goliath and King Carl. They're closing the door. They're blocking the doors over there.
See, this is what I'm telling you about, Dave Brown. You wouldn't listen to me. I'm not responsible for what goes on.
You are responsible for what goes on, and get them out of here.
My boys get kicked off, brother. Ain't nothing I can do with them. You understand? People go pay.
Oh, Billy Travis. Hammered into the desk by Mike Davis of the Rock and Roll RPMs. Jeff Jarrett and Tommy Lane going at each other. Meanwhile, in the ring, Diamond and Tanaka still working on Tracy's mother. Oh, they got him cut open, too. Got a cut on Tracy's forehead, and no doubt they counted him again with that metal chair. Look out. Tommy Lane and Mike Davis, the RPM. And now they get through the door. Here comes Rocky Johnson and the Nasty Boys. Well, help finally arrive, but the entire commission working over Tracy for quite some time in here with pile driver and what have you. Lance is going to try to grab Tracy right now as he's on his way to the ring. Lance?
Yeah, Trace, I know you're on your way out there, but boy, what an incident. We weren't here to see it, but I've seen the tape on it now.
Yeah, Lance, you know, I was just going to my ring for my match, minding my own business. Next thing I know, there's two guys jumping on me. You know, you saw what happened. They hit me with the chair, busted my head open, DDT'd me on the chair, pile drive me on the chair, God knows what else. You know, I've been out of action for a week. I've had dizzy spells all week. I've never missed any bookings since I started wrestling. This is the first time, you know. I don't know what kind of shape I'm really in today, but I'm fixing to give it a whirl.
Okay, well, I think they're ready for you out in the ring. Good luck to you, Tracy, and watch the health in there. We'll be keeping an eye on Tracy first.
Tracy Smothers jumps into the ring. Referee Jerry Calhoun is there. His opponent Keith Erich is also there. And we are just about ready. This is going to be a one-fall, 10-minute time limit match. Tracy Smothers going against Keith Erich. Tracy coming back after being jumped by the commission in a match a few days ago. Keith Erich backs him onto the ropes. Shot into the right fist. Tracy answered the same way. Came back with that right hand. And now Keith wants to complain about the fist. Never mind that he just did the same thing, huh? Tracy working on the left arm. Keith Erich reverses him. Tracy trying to take control again. Keith Erich put a boot to the midsection there. Keith Erich up in the air. Slammed by Tracy Smothers. That's a good drop kick by Tracy.
Eric hollering about tights in there, Dave. He caught him and just ripped him right across with that arm drag, popped him over and down with it.
Tracy rolls those shoulders down. Count is 2. That's all they got, just a 2 count. Two count again. Tracy wraps that arm up behind the back of Keith Erich. Down he goes. Shoulders are down. Referee starts the count. Look out, Tanaka coming in. Well, it's going to be a disqualification on Keith Erich.
Look at here. Hey, Steve Armstrong. Yes, sir, Steve Armstrong. And everybody is familiar with the wrestling Armstrong family. Steve comes in to help out an old friend against Tanaka. And Paul Diamond.
Yeah, what?
Look out! Tracy Smothers with Paul Diamond. Uh-oh, Tracy hammered into that ring post as Paul shook him off. Got him right in the shoulder. Referee Jerry Calhoun having no success in getting this thing slowed down. Tanaka over here on Steve Armstrong. Here comes Eddie Marlin. Randy Hales out.
All back in the ring now.
And Diamond pounding Smothers. Steve Armstrong whipped out of there. Reverse. Look at that. Smothers and Armstrong taking over now. Tracy just pulls Diamond down to the mat. Armstrong pounding on Tanaka. Jeff Jarrett, Billy Travis join the action, and I think if Diamond and Tanaka are smart, they will get out of here. With a chair, Tracy Smothers makes certain they get out of here. Boy, you can tell one thing. Tracy, after the beating he got last week from Diamond and Tanaka, he was delighted. There you see a couple of good friends, Steve Armstrong and Tracy there. Well, you had a lot of friends that came to your aid right there, Tracy.
You got that right, Lance. Pat Tanaka, Paul Diamond, I know you can't do nothing when it's 2-on-2. It's got to be 2-on-1, Jack. It's 2-on-2 now. Since I've been back in this area, everywhere I go, fans come up with magazines. They say, where's the Southern boys? Where's the other half? Where's Steve? He's standing right here, live and in color. Anybody knows anything about the Armstrong family knows they're second to none. You come out here with your fancy outfits on, holes in your britches. You call yourself bad company. We're going to show you what bad is. B is in bad, A is in atrocious, and D is for you better believe in disaster. Brickhouse Brown, Black Prince, whatever you call yourself. When you come out here running your mouth, talking about the commission, what you're going to do, you like to talk in rhymes. I got a rhyme for you. Pat Tanaka, Paul Diamond, Brickhouse Brown, you better get out of town, because there's two new shafts around. And it's Steve Armstrong and Tracy Smothers, the wild-eyed Southern boys. And if you think that little tussle we had was something, you call the Grand Canyon a ditch. Let me tell you something, Bubba. We just scratched the surface right here is all we did. What you got here is two wild-eyed Southern boys, 6'2", 235 pounds of twisted steel, sex appeal. And, brother, we're marching over everybody that gets in our way. Let me tell you something. You can take it all, stick it in your pipe, and smoke it, baby.
Okay, Steve and Tracy, glad to see you guys back together again because they had quite a run, as a matter of fact, down in Florida. And it's a delight to see Steve back up here. I know Tracy is awfully glad to see him back here, David.
Yes, indeed. Glad to see him back together.
Okay, official was a disqualification, right?
Yeah, went about 2 minutes, too.
Okie doke.